Hello students, a very good morning to all of you. Namaste, I'm Dr. Shruti Mishra. I'm Assistant Professor and the Coordinator in the Department of Management and Commerce, Faculty of Fund Governance in Jyoti Vidyapeeth Women's University, Jaipur. Students, in the previous session we have discussed about the Employees Provident Fund Act 1952. Now, in this session also, we're going to stretch the previous session only. In this session, we're going to discuss the employer's roles and responsibility. Now, we'll talk about the first, the point that is monthly return. Filing the monthly provident fund returns with the EPFO within the 15 days of the close of the each month. So every employee need to every employer need to file the provident fund return with the help of the EPFO, employee provident fund organization, within 15 days of the close of the each month. I mean 15 days before, at the date of 15 or 16 of each and every month, the employer need to file the returns of the PF. Now the next point says they provide the list of the new employees joined in the establishment during the preceding months and are qualified to become the member of the fund. Now, these information need to be provided by the employer to the EPFO so that they can understand, or they will get to know that how many employees has been joined the organization and how many employees are new to the organization and how many employees are the older ones. Now, the third point says they provide the list of the employees leaving since during the preceding month. Now, this is also an important part of the from the employer's point of view, that they need to provide the information and they need to provide all the details related to the employees who are leaving or who already left the organization during the last month and the coming month. Now the next point says the employers should file the nil returns if there is no new employee or no employee leaving the service during the preceding month. Now, in the case they are filing the provident fund to the EPFO, they need to understand that if there is nothing has been happened since the preceding month. I mean, no new employee has been joined and no the older employee has left the organization. So they can write over there the nil as a word for the in the case of the return for filing the return. Now the next point says that they provide the total number of the members last month, new members joined, and existing members resigned in the preceding months, and the total number of the present subscriber to the fund. Now, the in all, you can say that the employer need to provide each and every information to the EPFO, right? I mean, from joining to the person to the leaving of the person, how many employees are there, how many employees has been left the organization, how many employees are getting, or how many employees are getting the benefit of the PF. So each and every detail should be mentioned by the employer to the EPFO and should be given the information to the EPFO. Now, what about the annual returns? Now, this is the next point which we have discussed about the monthly returns. Now, we'll discuss about the annual returns, right? Now, the annual returns means employers shall send to the commissioner within 1 month of the closing of the year a consolidated annual contribution statement, form number 6A, right? Form number 6A, which mentioned all the information related to the annual returns, and individual employee sheet in the form number 3A showing the contribution made by the employee and the employer during the year. Now, this is the responsibility of all the employers, that they need to show and they need to provide the information to the commissioner uh, before closing month, before the 1 month of the closing. They need to provide a consolidated annual contribution statement, that is a form 6A, called as a form 6A, and the individual employee sheet of the form 3rd A, which has been called as a 3rd A, to the uh, to the commissioner, that they have made this much of the contribution, that these many employees are here, and I'm providing this much of the contribution to each of the employee, and this is my holistic contribution which I have done for the year, and this is from the side of the employer has been given. Now let's talk about the penalty as well. 12 to 37% of the interest is payable to the for the delayed payment in the remitting contribution or the administrative charges depending upon the delayed period. Now, if in the case of the employer has not given the PF amount to the employee, in that particular case, what action has been taken by the commissioner to the employer? That is 12 to 37% of the interest need to be payable by the employer to the employee in the case of the delayed payment. Right? Now, next talk about the exemption. Employer can seek the exemption from the scheme if similar or better benefits are provided other than the scheme by forming the voluntary PF trust, which will work under the rules and the regulation of the EPF. Now, in the case of the employer can say that I'm not going to provide the PF as I'm providing something else which is better or which is something similarly important and which is similarly benefiting the employee in the different other ways. So I'm not providing the PF. That statement can be given by the employer if he wants to exempt from the PF. So, but they need to show the certain documents related to it, that they are providing the better facilities or they are providing the better scheme to the employees, so that they can exempt themselves from the employee provident fund scheme. Now, next, the second point we should talk about the employee roles and responsibility. Now, we have talked about the employer's roles and responsibility, so it is not the one way, right? It is not the monologue, it's a dialogue. It is between the two parties. It's an employer and it's an employee. So, now we have talked about the employer, we'll talk about the employee. The first point says that the employee provide the details of the self and the nominee in the form number 2 for the PF and the pension scheme at the time of the joining the establishment. Now the employee need to provide the details, each and every detail about himself as well as the nominee of the PF fund who will going to take the PF fund and the pension scheme at the time of the joining of the establishment. Second point says, in the case of the already having the PF account, applied for the transfer of the previous amount account to the present account. Now they need to transfer the account if they have already have the account. The third one is, if willing to increase the contribution, inform the same to the employer to deduct the amount for the salary. The next point says, voluntary PF can be up to the 100% of the wages. So now next point says, understand that the employer is not liable to pay any contribution on the voluntary PF. Now this point says, they understand that the employer is not liable to pay any contribution on the voluntary PF. Now in the case of the voluntary PF scheme, no employer is liable to contribute the amount in the Provident Fund scheme in the case of the voluntary PF scheme. Periodically verify the details maintained by the employer. Now, employer can check and employer can cross all the details which has been provided by the employee in the case of the Employee Provident Fund scheme. Don't allow the employer to deduct his share of the contribution or the administrative charges payable by him from the wage. Now, this is the very crucial point which I wanted to talk about. If the employer is not contributing to your PF account, then you should not allow that employer to do so, because that is a crime that he is doing. I can say in a local term that he is cheating with you. So you are not supposed to allow that particular thing with you. Next point says, understand the Employees Provident Fund organization does not have any agent or the middlemen. So there is no agent or no middleman is there. So the employer need to provide the amount, the contributory amount to the employees, and employee will also contribute the certain amount which has been prescribed by the government or the appropriate authority. Uh, so this is all for the day. I hope you like the session. I've discussed both the points very clearly and very briefly. And if you are having any kind of doubt related to this particular session, please do let me know. I'll try to sort your problems. Uh, so students, thank you. Hope you like this session. Have a great day and stay safe, students.